The purpose for this project that I felt was to give each of us a better understanding of different management principles. My team members was Maritza Crawford, Joe Dancy, and myself, Cameron Colson. The topic that I chose to study was how do your personal ethics and corporate ethics impact communication. I began to research personal and corporate ethics. I thought I could better define the question if I better knew the ins and outs of the word. Personal ethics is the basic principles and values that govern interactions among individuals. Having that understanding, I went and sought out better understanding of corporate ethics. I had an idea of what it possibly pertained to, but was not for sure. Corporate ethics, also known as business ethics, is a form of applied ethics or professional ethics that examine ethical principles and moral or ethical problems that arise in a business environment. Now, with a better understanding on both topics, it was time for me to dive in even deeper and gain a better understanding on communication. I use communication every day on my job, but I felt that there may be more than one version. Communication many times is used to gain wealth, reach goals, and even achieve success. Many times it is also about much simpler than that. It increases understanding, tolerance, and enhances wisdom and truth. It also builds friendships and families. Starting with personal ethics, I read that in order to gain agreement in an environment, you must establish a personal ethic, a personal standard for the quality and purpose of your communication. In layman's terms, that boils down to the way you will and will not treat people. Only the individual can establish their own communication standards or ethics. Corporate ethics is an area of corporate responsibility where businesses are legally and socially obligated to conduct business with an ethical manner. Business tends to value communication with their customers. I have seen this with many jobs that I have worked. Customers make a business thrive or fail. Without business, companies close. Businesses and companies have adopted the saying, the customer's always right. We know that not to be true. Businesses' goals are to keep customers happy. When we are aware of how powerful communication is, we become very respectful of it.
Thank you, Cameron. My name is Maritza Crawford, and I will be covering what are the characteristics of an excellent communication. Communication is defined as a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. An excellent communication should have an appropriate heading to clearly state what the topic will be about. The communication must have the right conciseness. It must include appropriate statements, avoid redundancy, and use clear, familiar words. The communication should be delivered correctly. Will the communication be better in person, through email, or by phone? Recently, in the company that I work for, there was going to be a mass layoff. And someone decided that the best way to communicate this was to hold a meeting. In the meeting, they basically told the employees, once you return to your desk, if you have a red light on, that means that you no longer work for the company. We all felt this was not the correct way to deliver that message. Also, your communication must be courteous. You must avoid sarcasm, as sarcasm in some cultures are considered rude. In conclusion, an excellent communication should convey the information to all interested parties in a concise, courteous manner in an appropriate format. Is the communication better by phone, in person, or in print? Thank you. And now, Tyler.
Thank you, Maritza, for explaining the characteristics of excellent communication. Hi, my name is Tyler Dancy. I'd like to discuss the role of communications in a high-trust organization. But first, I want to explain what a high-trust organization is. A high-trust organization is an organization that has created a high sense of trust with its employees, stakeholders, and its customers. Trust and communication in an organization go hand in hand. Trust can be gained through communication. Once managers have gained the trust and the support of their employees, businesses can meet their goals and objectives more effectively. I'd like to show you a screen. According to www.astd.org, in June of 2011, the International Journal of Business and Management included an article entitled Communication, Commitment, and Trust, Exploring the Triad, by Rachid Zafane, Syed Tipu, and James C. Ryan. This research paper reviewed previous studies on these topics along with data from a survey of 244 employees at a medium-sized company based in Australia. Their findings revealed that trust and commitment do not just happen. They are forged and maintained through effective communication. Communication needs to be transparent. For example, investors must know relevant information such as the profitability or the risk involved in their investments. If an organization is not transparent, then investors will not trust that organization. According to our textbook, communication transparency involves openly sharing honest and complete information about the organization and the workplace affairs. A good example of transparent communication at my current job is they are rolling out a new reconditioning process company-wide. It is very different than the process we are currently doing, and it involves many of the employees learning new job tasks. The employees are going to have to learn new techniques for each aspect of their job. The arrangement of our merchandise on our lot had to be completely changed around also. My company did a great job of explaining all the changes in a meeting. There was great transparent communication exhibited. All the employees knew what to expect and knew what was expected of them. However, trust can quickly go away in an organization when communication breaks down. Companies can lose trust in their employees, their customers, their suppliers, and often the general public when communication breaks down. Communication needs to remain open, and it needs to be authentic and honest. Communication is vital in an organization, and if handled the wrong way, it could be the downfall of a business or an organization. I hope after hearing this you realize how trust and communication go hand in hand with each other. I hope you also realize how valuable communication is to a high-trust organization. I'd just like to thank my teammates Maritza and Cameron. Hopefully, after hearing our presentation, you realize how personal ethics and corporate ethics impact communication. You realize the characteristics of excellent communication, and you realize the role of communication in a high-trust organization. Here is a screen showing all the sources we used in acquiring our information.